Hello, good morning and a very warm welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And joining me this morning is the Deputy Speaker of Sri Lanka's Parliament, and no better introduction than to say Mr. Cricket himself, Tilanga Sumuthipala. Good morning and welcome to our show.
Good morning and thank you for inviting me.
Great having you here. And we're also joined by the veteran and mature journalist and former diplomat, Bandula Jayasekara. Morning, Bandula, and how are you?
Morning, Faras. Again, the brother in blue.
Indeed, indeed, absolutely.
Waiting till the day you wear green.
Now that we have the Deputy Speaker with us, it wouldn't be inappropriate, would it, Mr. Sumuthipala, to ask you, why is this Parliament costing the people 4.6 million every day it sits? Why is that then?
Well, it's the total cost of the entire annual budget in terms of maintaining the staff of over 800 people in the Parliament. There are 60 different divisions, and maintaining of the head office and then the support services, correspondence, translators, gazette, Hansard department. There's a gamut of it. But as what Speaker may have said that day, when you put the whole exercise put together, and the cost per day would have been approximately 4.5 to 5 million rupees. So every minute we speak there, worth so much of money, public money, people, taxpayers' money that we are spending.
And sometimes this valuable time, and it's valuable, it's got a monetary value to it, is spent on having to listen to people saying poems and singing and poetry inside Parliament.
Well, certain people are trying to derive at a certain point, maybe by associating and bringing some saying or a rhyme, whatever they call it, to bring it up. That's not a big issue as such, but as long as you don't use Parliament as the Lipton roundabout, or you may, or like the Fort railway station for your demonstration, because the Parliament is not there for you to make demonstrations. Parliament, you can make your point of view, you can debate, you can argue. At the end of the day, now it's a national government. So what are we doing? We are trying to transfer this current situation into a vibrant Parliament and an effective people's representation. To do that, we need to make so many legislative changes. So you need 2/3 majority to pass this new laws in action. So for that, we should be more focused towards bringing new acts, new enactments, new gazettes to give more meaningful, effective legislature. But unfortunately, certain element of people, certain group of people, I see they are very frustrated and they are reacting for every slightest thing and making objections and trying to stand out, take the mask out and then disturb the Parliament. I think they are used to so many, I would say, reactions on the field. Certain people, I mean, we all do objections, rather you do protest, you do all that on the street, you do the street fighting to represent people and their voice. There's nothing wrong in it, as long as you are democratically doing it without harming anybody. But once you are elected to the Parliament, you should be exercising your parliamentary position to transform and drive the Parliament towards making it better. But what I see, this frustrated element of people are trying to make use of their Parliament position to get popular and to be heard. It's like, I'm there, I'm still in the Parliament, I've protested this for no reason. But at the end of the day, I wish if you give live coverage to the whole exercise, then there are some outstanding young parliamentarians, there are outstanding senior parliamentarians. They do their research of few days, they make a wonderful contribution to the debates. And if you analyze their debates, are very, very strong and very powerful, very good. There's something to learn about, and then to keep your focus on that. It goes out out of notice, it goes out because of this certain small amount of people who are making objections and working on unnecessary, situations.
Mr. Sumitwala, you're pretty lean and mean businessman in terms of your business operations. You must have looked at these expenses. Where is the biggest cost center then?
But democracy is not cheap.
No.
Democracy is very expensive.
It's neither is it easy, but
it's not only the parliament. We have a provincial system. Then before that we have.
But this parliament, talk about the cost of the daily cost.
I don't think parliament cost is the issue here. Whether we are making adequate use out of what we are spending now. The parliament has to be reinvested.
But have you had a look to see what is the things that cost more?
Which areas?
And have you had a look to see where you can cut it?
In my opinion, we have to transform this into a modernized parliament. We need to provide them with more accessibility to the information. Our parliament is almost 30 years old.
But now look at the Lanka British Parliament, the Australian Parliament. Do we need this sort of comforts, the seating?
No, the thing is, House of Commons is a different platform. And here, having a parliament, it's a beautiful facility. But what I see here is, there is a wonderful library we have. People should be transformed into making more research and bringing vibrant debates into the Parliament House, and also have the both sides, government and opposition, contributing it towards the new legislature, and take priority on right now, especially Prime Minister is very keen to bring these oversight committees, which is a wonderful thing. You can't put the oversight committees unless we have a budget committee. In Sri Lanka, we don't have a budget committee. We just present the bill, which is with the estimates, and then we debate and we pass the third reading. There is no permanent office in Parliament for a budget committee. There should be a budget office. So what happens is, I proposed this about 3 years ago as a private member, as a backbencher. When you have a budget office, all the estimates are scrutinized and then they say this is your 5 years budgetary allocation, this is for your infrastructure, for administration, future development and so forth. Then what happens, it goes into the select committee, rather oversight committee. Oversight committee generally in any other country headed by an opposition member. So there is a minister in place, there is an oversight committee. Once you pass the budget, the budget committee passes it, then the oversight committee monitors it. So then the oversight committee has the power to call the secretary, the chairman of the ministry, and discuss and debate. There is a good opportunity for the transparency and accountability. So right now we are debating and discussing. Actually, we met about 4 or 5 times. Those are things we must bring into the parliament as fast as we can.
But won't this make things more expensive?
No, but then isn't it easier, rather than you allow this to happen? Now people are saying colossal amount of money being spent on this project, that project, highways and all that. We are debating after the water is gone past the bridge.
Right.
So what is the point? If you can up to some degree, if you can control and have some effect to it, we can put a stop to it well in advance.
As a businessman, you are better. You are better known more so than the speaker as a businessman, if you compare the two of you. So as a businessman, haven't you looked at where you can cut costs in this parliament?
Well, I think I'm not worried about the spending allocation of money for the parliament or that. I think we have to modernize. We have to have an agenda where we bring. For example, if there's a new bill, it should be debated within the ministry level, consultative committee, give effect to that bill, and there's a public debate on that bill, and put it to the House. House can pass it after considering both sides of the story. Whereas we are spending more time on adjournment motions, spending more times on some issues which has gone past. There are very serious, very important things that we have to take priority on. I think government and the opposition put together, if you put the priorities right, this is our education, our health, national security, and all that put together, and there are 150 odd legislative changes expected to be passed. I don't think we can't do it now because we are before our
Can we
budget. You can only start in January.
Yeah.
But the moment you start that, the debates are going elsewhere. They are talking about seating regulations. They are talking about not giving to speak at the right time. Those are petty, small things.
Interesting question by one of our viewers, listening to you. What like Faraz said, you are more known as a, businessman. What the viewer says is, I want to know from you, the likes of you, like Ruwan Vijayawardena, people who have much more wealthier MPs, can rework on this canteen. This is really from a viewer's point of view. Not to have meals there. Give, that's subsidized.
About the subsidized.
Yeah, subsidized. So they want to know from you all.
No,
some of you all can get together.
Actually, this canteen business, this may be a canteen which people can talk about 20 years ago. Today, this canteen is actually a very average, normal canteen. I don't think that is a big issue. But
for the masses, because they feel that.
Because 30 years ago, when you have a buffet, it's a big opportunity. You have to go to a 5-star hotel to have a buffet. Now it's normal, rice and curry. The food is not fantastic and outside it is like quite average food. I don't think every poor house can eat this way. But that is given unnecessary publicity about the food and all that about the parliament. That is nothing fantastic about. And at the end of the day, now there are important people in our electorate. Galle, Matara, Hambantota, and you bring some leading monk from that area for Dane, or you bring some college principal to the parliament. They go and visit the parliament, they discuss their local development area in their respective electorate and constituencies. There are respectable people and they would like to visit the parliament. They meet you up, give them a decent meal. I don't think that is a big cost that you can harp on. Actually, food quality or the investing for the food has not increased for last 10 to 15 years. But 20 years ago, this kind of food would have been very, very luxurious, in my opinion.
I just want to move on to something else. What about this business that our dear friend Wimal Weerawance's passport matters? What on earth is he doing? He's a member of parliament and he's trying to use an expired passport.
Faraz, you have interesting friends. You said dear Prime Minister, now you call Wimal Weerawanse a dear friend.
They're such dear fellows, these.
I think, the question is, I think he was trying to go in a passport which is not valid to be travelled. So I think immigration have done the right thing by stopping him. Just because you are a parliamentary, you don't have...
Exactly my point. And it brings me nicely to this next question. Why is it, it was reported in the press, that the Prime Minister had to intervene? Why?
I don't know why Vimal and Prime Minister had a discussion on this matter.
Yeah.
I have no idea. If at all he is a parliamentarian, he can either talk to his party leader or he can talk to the speaker. And if he has spoken to the Prime Minister, I have no idea I have no knowledge about that. At the end of the day, the bottom line is, if you don't know how to travel abroad, having a decent document which is permissible to travel, that shows your ability of the rest of your work.
Indeed, but I was a little bit puzzled when we have a system in place. We have a judiciary, we have an IGP, we have all sorts of agencies here to implement law and order. The involvement of the Prime Minister in this matter is again showing the people that you need somebody, you need to know someone if you need to get something done. It sends the wrong message in this ambience of good governance. What do you say?
I agree. Everything, you have to call the top and then otherwise you can't.
Actually, he didn't call the top. No, he has elected from the UPFA. He didn't even speak to the UPFA boss. No, he has spoken to the UNP boss itself.
Yeah, that's what we said. The top is the Prime Minister.
Now you mean then Vimal's top is now?
Looks like that's what he has called.
No, I want very quickly but just back to the parliament for a few seconds. When you went on about how much it costs and its valuable time, does this mean that if we removed Dinesh and Vasu and Vimal, that we'll get more work done and therefore it will be better value for money?
No, you see, I don't think we can agree in principle for elected parliament representatives to be removed. I think democratically they have got elected, they have a right to speak.
Yeah.
I have no problem them speaking and arguing, debating. They have some valuable contributions to make in terms of the debates, and also they have experience. But the sad part is, we are saying parliament is supreme. We are saying this is the Uttaritara place, that the biggest, largest institute in the country, and we get elected and we represent. But if you don't maintain the decorum within the house, if you don't respect your own institute, outsiders are not going to come and respect that, build that up. So each and every member who is elected, who is serving there, 225 members, they have a right to, and they have an obligation, and they have a business and a responsibility to maintain the status of the institute. But if you are diluting that, if you are not behaving to that level, I think you are demeaning your own institute and yourself.
You're we've gone back to this. You're a successful, wealthy person, and you sort of say that the food in Parliament is simple. Is it? Do you eat there?
No, I do eat. I don't say simple. It's not affordable to each and every household in this country. But I'm trying to say, I mean, we have traveled, we have gone for weddings, we've been invited all over functions. I find that is not exorbitant amount of money that we are spending today.
Okay.
I think it's not affordable to a normal house living.
Right.
But it is, you must maintain certain level of food quality. I find it, I mean, it is not a 5-star standard.
Right, okay.
It is maybe a 3-star, if you compare 3-star restaurant or a
You
hotel
may
standard.
find when you go to Parliament today that the caterers won't be very happy with you.
No, that's not the issue. I'm trying to say, I feel people are speaking too much about the Parliament food and Parliament, if you eat in Parliament and all that, but I found you are giving unnecessary focus towards that. I'm not saying, that the Parliament food is good for average people, but because you are keep on asking that question, I think certain level of standard has to be maintained even in the food quality.
Can you cut down the number of curries available and make some saving?
No, but in that case you can open up a cafeteria, people to pay their own food and buy.
Yeah.
People have a choice of whether you want to have 2 curries or 20 curries, that should be your choice.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is a place that people to worry about food too much, because intention of this golden old days, there had been situation non-stop 20 hours Parliament had been sitting to pass resolutions, pass the budgets. So the practice has come from where we were at Golfis Green.
Thank you for those things about Parliament, but we really must move on to something which we know that you know a whole lot more. Cricket. It's a national pastime, and it's becoming almost a national headache when we think of Maitland Place. Why is it, Mr. Sumitipala, why is it, and I've asked this question from the others also, and I haven't had any answers, but I'm asking you for the first time on air, why is it that Maitland Place now appears to be the preserve of those whose names end with Sumitipala, Dharmadatha, Ranatunga? Aren't there other people who have played a role in the past, who could come back? There are others perhaps waiting. Why is it it's only the preserve of the 3 families, if you like?
I don't think that is a right statement to make. It's like this, when we were young, we were all looking up to late Mr. Gamit Sanai. He ran for 7 years as the president. I'm a first-class player. I played first-class cricket in Sri Lanka. Then I was involved with the club cricket. I was the president of the Colombo district, Western Commercial Cricket Association, and I was part and parcel of the game. So we helped the game from the grassroots level to top, and then the management, the administration would like to see us, who knows the game, who's got the experience in the administration of the game, to be part and parcel of it. I was the vice president for 3 years before I became the president. Then I was the president of the Asian Cricket Council. I've served in the ICC. So then what do they want? They want to have an experienced personality running in the... Now look at the politics. You look at Chandrika Bandaranaike, Madam, former president, still running somewhere down the line. President Rajapaksa running still somewhere down the line. Mr. Wickremesinghe from UMP, 20 years on.
But can't we have some new blood?
No, you can ask that from UNP.
Yes.
It's not. It won't happen like that. When you develop a leadership within the system, they will have confidence because of your experience. Then you will have the confidence of transforming the institute into a different height. So that is within the democratic process. I don't think. Now, not only cricket, no, there are other sports. You find it difficult to bring some people, quality people to run. Hockey, football, rugby, you name it. It's not only cricket. Nationally, we have very limited resource persons who can transform any sport to that level. Because today, the world sports have gone beyond our local level. Maybe cricket and football are exceptionally all right because we are still working on. So, coming back to Sri Lankan cricket, well, I mean, if the membership wants you elected, why should anybody...
So it's no different.
Stop you, because you can't, what you see on television is not what is happening in the administration.
Right.
So administration is something people would like to bring quality people who can transform the institute into a different height. So I think in that context, people want me back. If they want me back for a purpose and a reason, if I want to comply, I will definitely stand by.
Have you put yourself forward?
Not yet. I want to talk to my leader of the party, His Excellency Maithripala Sirisena. I will have a chat with my Minister of Sports, and then I want to talk to the Speaker. All three of them I want to have different level, because with my current involvement and with my responsibility, I want to find out how much time that I will have to set aside for the game of cricket.
Yes.
So if they are all in agreement,
right,
then I can consider. As at this moment of time, membership is coming behind me like nothing. They said, please come back. That's foregone. I have a problem of amount of people are reaching out to me.
Right.
They are not happy with interim committees. They think it's a fast. Then number
but
two,
anyway, that doesn't all go well with the ICC.
Precisely.
And also, does that mean that without you, Upali and Arjuna, Sri Lanka cricket cannot exist?
No, I don't think. I have not been serving the board for almost 10 years. So cricket ran. So for last 10 years, I have never got involved with the cricket board. So it's a long period.
But you're waiting in the wings.
No, it's not that. It's a demand.
Okay. I want to ask you this. Now, it's like a cozy club. I'm not talking about this president. I'm talking about the former president, because he's very much a ball man. Like in sport. So when you have these relationships, the public sort of have leaked information here and there that we had the president of the country making team selections or suggestions. And so obviously when you have those sort of relationships up there, it's rather difficult to ignore.
I think former President Mahinda Rajapaksa got involved unnecessarily with the game of cricket at the various levels, and he got carried away, I suppose. And also he has got involved with the cricket board elections.
Yeah.
One time he asked me not to contest, and I don't think the president of the country has any business to stop anybody contest if the membership wanted you there.
Right.
And once I remember him getting involved with certain players and discussing selection matters, and then he was getting involved with the actual election, asking certain members, call the members and say, vote for this team. I mean, head of the state getting involved. Has he got so much of time and involvement? Why? No, obviously he had gone beyond his responsibility.
Beyond his mandate,
Yes.
And it's none of his business. No. But these are few things like, you not only this, if there is a Devadan Nilame or various institutes in the country being run by their respective...
Do you think the Surya Vava Stadium is a good idea?
We were looking at a southern province cricket stadium. Actually, we have picked up a place long ago. That place was found by, at that time, Honorable Mahinda Rajapaksa when he was a minister. And then, because the port came in, we had to shift it to Surya Vava. Surya Vava, I think having a southern province stadium, I have no issue. We were looking at a place where you have water, access to the water and all, but the position has shifted to elsewhere. But I don't know the cost of 4.3 billion for that stadium. I have no idea about the investing so much of money and who invested, who paid the money and all that. We have no idea about spending so much of money is justifiable.
And what news of the so-called most influential kingmaker in cricket, Mr. Warnavira? Where is he?
Well, he has been involved with Southern Province. He played for Sri Lanka. He had been involved with development of that area. I heard that he has been asked to step down from the interim committee. I think there is a investigation committee matter going on with him. So it's not fair to discuss.
No, that's true. I was just wondering where he is. We haven't seen this almost popular figure. But do you agree, in all these matters, that if you take a glass of milk and if you just drop something else into that, that entire glass is finished. That's it. Do you think we can reach that status in Parliament where we have honest, clean, committed, dedicated parliamentarians?
Well, I think this is not an event, what you're asking. It's a process.
Right.
We have come quite a distance from last 9 months, especially after 8th of January. You can see the democracy establishing, coalition government, having respect for each other, talking with each other, talking with each other. It has got greater than ever before. In consultation, we are talking, settling certain things, and that superpower influence is no longer after Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa got defeated. And I mean, I remember I've been involved with media for so long. I'm a printer by profession. I'm involved with newspapers. 20 years ago, in 1986, I started my printing business and publishing. I moved with a backbencher as a backbencher, right to information bill. And he said, don't bring it up. I mean, if I can't speak for the media freedom, if I can't speak on behalf of the journalist, if I can't speak for the right to information, in that parliament, 7th parliament, I don't think anybody was closer to be matched with my experience.
Maybe politicians have lots to hide.
No, then when the head of the state and asking you not to bring a private member motion, I went up to him and said, sir, you have nothing to hide. Let's speak up. You have done so much. Right to information doesn't mean only the print media. We have expanded the broadband. We have expanded the accessibility to the rural people through internet. That is also right to information, access to information. So therefore, from the IT accessibility from 24% to 48%, there's an improvement. Let me speak. Let this dialogue come out. He said, no, I don't think you should bring it up. So when I went to the parliament, my motion has been suspended. So I'm just giving you an example. So that pressure is not at the parliament any longer. Everyone is, speaking out. They can speak about it. The backbenchers are voicing up. I think give next 2 years, the transformation, vibrancy of the parliament will improve. But genuinely speaking, that will take good 5 to 10 years, because now people who are knocking at the door, they must be at the provincial level. We have to take this discipline back to provincial council. Provincial council is where the people are mostly coming into the parliament. So if you don't bring the discipline there and line them up, to groom them, to represent at the parliament level, then you will have the percentage of people who are coming who are not ready to assert themselves as parliamentarians. So I think it's a process. So I think we are all committed to it.
Here's an unfair question for you, just before we end. I note what you said about the 2 years, and I know that Parliament can't be dissolved now. But will the government last for 2 years?
I think my reading, this government will continue for next 4.5 years. Because Parliament can't dissolve for 4.5 years after the 19th Amendment. There is no reason executive presidency will decide what the government should be. executive president is working with the current prime minister in national issues, the more important issues, very closely. So there will be there are issues and various disagreement between His Excellency Maithripala Sirisena and Honourable Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe on issues with regard to two parties stand. But as the Parliament is concerned, this Parliament will continue with a full period. After 4.5 years, there will be a new Parliament because we only have 5 years now. But the 2-year agreement, people will have to take the stock of the situation. After the 2 years, this coalition government business will have to sit and look at it. Because after 31st of December 2017, I think the 2-year period expires.
Right.
After that, this SLFP, UMP will have to sit down and look at how best that they should work together. Because at that point, there will be a new life to sit down. Because if you don't bring the new legislation, new acts into Parliament as we promised, good governance, transparency, accountability, all what we discussed, people are expecting us to transform. If we don't put our heart and soul to it, then the public will say, look here, you all have discussed so much and nothing has happened. So then the UMP and SLFP both will be committed and both will be responsible for not bringing it in. But if you bring that in, then people will respectfully feel, okay, look, you have done 70% of it, let's finish the next 25%. But if you have done nothing, then they say, please leave the house and bring some good government.
Good. Thank you very much for being on our show, Tilanga Sumitipala, Deputy Speaker, businessman, parliamentarian. We hope to welcome you on board another show soon. Thank you. And Bandula, thank you very much for your invaluable presence. And perhaps we can leave with this thought. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but to test a man's character, give him power. On that note, I'll wish you a very good morning and take care.